wage system that pays new automotive workers a lower hourly wage than veteran workers receive, a top official says. This is IRN USA News.
I bet you've heard this phrase before. Build a better mousetrap and the world will beat a path to your door. Hi, how in the world are you anyway? I'm Andy Willoughby from the 3-Step Plan Home Business System. Now, we don't sell mousetraps, but we do market the highest quality products we can find in our business category. To prove it, we'd like to send you a free sample that you could try for yourself. Go to 3stepusa.com. That's 3stepusa.com or call 800-480-2102.
Former National Security Agency contractor Edward Snowden has offered to collaborate with a Brazilian investigation into the NSA surveillance program he revealed earlier this year, according to a letter published in a local newspaper. Here's correspondent Hope Duggar.
In an open letter to the Brazilian people, Snowden said he would like to assist in a congressional probe into the NSA spying program, which monitored the personal communications of President Dilma Rousseff and other Brazilians. The letter said, quote, I have expressed my willingness to assist wherever appropriate and lawful, but unfortunately the United States government has worked very hard to limit my ability to do so. Snowden is living in Russia under temporary asylum that is due to expire in August. He had previously requested asylum in Brazil, but that request remains unanswered. While he stopped short of asking again in the letter, he suggested that any collaboration with Brazilian authorities would depend on it. With IRN USA Radio News, I'm Hope Duggar.
The United Nations received reports from local sources in South Sudan on Tuesday that between 400 and 500 people had been killed and up to 800 wounded in the latest violence. And the government said it had arrested 10 politicians in connection with a, quote, failed coup, end quote. Major U.S. wireless carriers pledged to make it easier for consumers to unlock their mobile phones for use on competitors' networks, responding to pressure from consumer groups and the top U.S. communications regulator. I'm Richard Stewart, and you've been listening to IRN USA Radio News.
Are you one of the 37 million Americans with student loan debt? If so, pay attention to this important announcement. Broadsword Student Advantage has free information on how you may be able to reduce your monthly payment, shorten your repayment term, or possibly have your remaining student loan balance completely forgiven. You heard correctly. You could potentially have your federal student loan completely forgiven, but you need to call now for free information to see if you qualify. Broadsword Student Advantage and Affordable Life Plans, a registered investment advisory firm, are working together to help you find a solution for your student loans. In one free call, discover how you may be able to cut your student loan payments, shorten your payment term, or have your loan forgiven. There is no cost or obligation for this money-saving information. Call now, 800-211-0448. That's 800-211-0448. Don't miss out. Call now, 800-211-0448. 800-211-0448. Or visit online at getforgiven.org.
Stand by. Okay, your mic is hot now.
All right, welcome to the show, World Soccer Radio on the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. I'm Nick Geber alongside Danny Page today. Great show for you today, as we always do, by the way, every weeknight, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. A lot to talk about, as we're a lot of topics out there today, Danny, not least of which Chelsea are getting knocked out today of the Cup by Sunderland. I don't know, did you see that match, Danny?
Yeah, 2-1 to Sunderland. A goal laid on. Barini plays a huge part again in a big Sunderland goal. And we talked about Chelsea having to really make a push for the Capital One Cup, and like they did in Mourinho's first year, I thought they were going to win the thing. Knocked out today. We got to talk a little bit about Mourinho and the Blues.
Yeah, we're going to do all of that. So here's what we're going to talk about today. Let's ask what's next for Spurs. We've talked yesterday at length about the sacking of AVB, but of course the big question is, who's next at White Hart Lane? Couple of contenders. Love to get your take. Send us a tweet at World Soccer Radio. Also, as you mentioned, we're going to talk about Chelsea. I'm going to ask what happened today. They've had some questionable results over the course of the season so far. I know they're right up there, but do you think Chelsea really are title contenders? Love to hear from you. Find us on Twitter at World Soccer Radio, or of course you can give us a call in studio at 800-878-PLAY. Also, let's talk about who your title pick is we're far enough in right now, I think, that we're seeing how the teams are sort of handling the stress and the pressures. Many of them have obviously multiple tournaments they're in, but I think we're getting a good idea of how things are starting to look. So who is your title pick? And finally, Vincent Tan, is he loony? Or is his lunacy justified because he is the man with the bucks? All right, that's what we're going to talk about today on World Soccer Radio. Find us in studio, 800-878-PLAY, 800-878-PLAY, or find us on Twitter at World Soccer Radio. Danny, anything else quickly that you'd like to pop in there?
Just hoping to get my say on AVB and who's next at Spurs. I'm pumped for tonight's show, Nick.
All right, well, I'll talk through you no matter what. Anyway. All right, 800-878-PLAY, 800-878-PLAY. Those are the topics on the table. Love to hear from you. Be sure to participate with us via Twitter, of course, folks, because that's how we like to do it. Or give us a call, 800-878-PLAY. All right, we're going to step aside, take a break. When we come back, we're going to kick it all off right here on the Sports Byline USA Network and American Forces. No better place to be right now. Stand by. Now's the time to use the loo.
When you work out, you give it your all. At the gym or outdoors,
right.
It's intense, impactful, non-stop.
Bring Danny up just a touch.
And won't fall
Just
out.
a
With
touch.
iSport, you get pure monster sound, a comfortable
Okay.
washability, and control talk at your fingertips, so you don't miss a call. Choose from a range of noise isolations with iSport Intensity, Victory, and Strive, or go wireless with iSport Freedom. Monster iSport, the athlete's headphone, available at Target and Best Buy or online at monsterproducts.com.
Attention, if you've had hip replacement surgery and suffered any complications, you need to listen to this important legal alert. Major manufacturers have made billions of dollars available to award legal claims for defective hip implants. Thousands of these defective hip implants have been recalled by various manufacturers. If you've had hip surgery and suffered complications, you may be entitled to receive significant compensation to help you deal with your complications. You may be eligible to receive money to help with medical expenses, lost wages, and pain and suffering. Protect yourself by hiring an experienced trial attorney. Our partner law firms are experts in hip replacement surgery
Check the
lawsuits.
Hangouts
Find
text.
out now if you're eligible to receive any of the $2.5 billion hip settlement fund. Call now for free information. 800-296.
It almost sounds like there's a slight delay going back to Danny.
800-296-1360. 800-296-1360. That's 800-296-1360.
Don't complain about your cable
90
going
seconds.
up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $24.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $24.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card.
Call 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more.
Call now, 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Can't get enough sports? Join
30
your fellow
seconds.
fans
Stand
at
by.
SBNation.com for all the best sports
Back
news,
on mic here.
conversation, and opinion. Love your team? Love your town? SB Nation's 300-team regional and sports-centric communities are built just for you. Over 500 of the nation's best sports writers and 35 million fans all gathered in one place, telling you the stories, sharing the opinions, and bringing you the news that matters to you most in sports. Whatever your sports passion, we've got a home for it. SBNation.com. Your team, your community.
Stand by. You're up.
All right, welcome back to the show, World Soccer Radio, Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Nick Geber with Danny Page with you tonight. Big show, as always, of course, big topics. The Premier League, never short of things to talk about. As today, we're going to talk a little bit about the goings-on at White Hart Lane. Look, Andre Villas-Boas was fired. We had a big chat yesterday about whether you think that was justified or not. My opinion is very, very early. I thought, given the fact that, Danny, there are only two Tottenham managers who have a better win percentage than Andre Villas-Boas. And, of course, You have to go all the way back to Arthur Turner in the 1942-1946 season, or even before then, a guy that you might be surprised, Danny, I don't even remember, a guy by the name of Frank Brattel from 1898 to 1899.
Wow, you don't remember him.
No, I don't even remember him. That's how far back you have to go to find a manager that has a better win percentage at Tottenham than Andre Villas-Boas. But what's done is done. He's on the way. There are some names being bandied around, Danny.
Well, Nick,
go ahead.
Nick, I didn't get a chance to weigh in last night, and I would like to just ask you a couple questions briefly. When you look at his sacking yesterday, do you think if he had just, completely shut it down after that second half sending off and lost 2-0, would he have been sacked? I mean, I admire the guy for really going for it, but frankly, if you're proud Liverpool, if that club went out and lost at home 5-0 to Spurs and away to City 6-0, wouldn't you want the manager sacked?
No.
And let's remember, Brendan Rodgers has been with the team the same amount of time. I mean, let's say Liverpool were in that scenario and they had sold Suarez for $80 million but brought players back in, and you went out and lost 6-0 away in 5. You wouldn't want Rodgers sacked?
No,
Are you
probably
kidding?
not.
Absolutely
Well,
would.
no, because there's a couple of things. First of all, and again, we discussed this ad nauseum yesterday. Of course, you chose not to be here, so you got to miss it. But no, the discussion was more along the lines of when you take the star player out of a team and you get the money for him, money doesn't score you goals. The only thing money can do is buy you other players. It's very, very hard to replace a player like Gareth Bale as a whole. You have to replace him with pieces, which is what they've tried to do. And it takes time to assimilate that many pieces that are that important to the team. Honestly, look where the Spurs are in the table. They are within striking distance of 4th place. They're still in all the major tournaments. They've got a good shot at getting another Europa League spot next year. Things are really not all that bad for them. Yet the one that I think really has to take responsibility for it is Daniel Levy, because he made a business decision, Danny. He didn't make a footballing decision. He made a business decision, and that decision was we can sell Gareth Bale at the top of the market, at the peak of his value. He's probably seriously overvalued. We can make extra money. We can bring in more players. Let's sell him now. Of course, that's a good business decision, but as we see, it's not a good footballing decision. And because of that, Andre Villas-Boas has taken the fall. And I think Daniel Levy should be the one looking in the mirror and standing up and taking responsibility.
Well, this is the second time, Nick, that
Nick, bring
he has
your mic
sacked
up.
a manager
Just a couple of DB.
simply for just a disagreement, really. For the fact that I heard at the end of the day it was because Andre Villas-Boas didn't want to play Emmanuel Adebayo.
Yeah, whether I believe
back,
that or not,
I want to go back to the sacking. I want to go back all the way to the sacking of Harry Redknapp. That was a lot more about ego than it was about what was happening on the field.
Right.
And yes, Levy is this great negotiator, and yes, he's done a fantastic job selling players at the right time. But is his ego playing too big of a part right now? And I think Joe Louis is really going to look at Daniel Levy's role in this team. He's sold players at the right time, but he's also brought in guys who can be his puppet as a manager. He never should have sacked Redknapp, and now he's in a position where I think you're absolutely right. His job should be the one that we're talking about just as much.
Yeah, that's correct. Look, I think it was very unfortunate for Andre Villas-Boas, and I think it's a big career blow for him. He's going to have to go away now after failing at Chelsea, supposedly failing at Spurs, although, again, I question whether this was failure or not. And he's going to have to go probably back to Portugal and win a few things before he can come back, which is unfortunate because I think he's a good, solid manager with some good, solid ideas. Maybe, just maybe, the problem with Andre Villas-Boas has to do more with his personality, which I hear is a little bit caustic, a little bit arrogant. Again, I've never met him, so I can't tell you that from a personal standpoint, but that's what I've been hearing. But look, Danny, the question is really, who's next for Spurs? We know it was AVB. He's gone. There are two names. Glenn Hoddle, number one. I'm hearing Glenn Hoddle a lot. But number two is Rafa Benitez, who's currently at Napoli. He's under a lot of pressure there because of their exit from the Champions League, even though their domestic league form has turned the corner a bit and is back on track. He's under a lot of pressure, and I just wonder if he might jump at the chance to move to Spurs. And I wonder, you know how much of a Benitez fan I is. Listen to this. I is a Benitez fan.
We know oh so well.
You know how much of a Benitez fan I am.
We know oh so well.
You have to wonder, though, if he goes to Spurs, are they going to sing "You're Nothing But a Fat Spanish Waiter" to him?
A fat Spanish waiter. I don't know where you come up with this.
Well, that's what the Chelsea
honestly.
fans sang to Rafa Benitez when he went to Chelsea.
I know. But I just don't think that in reality, Rafa Benitez is going to leave anytime during the season when Napoli, frankly, even have an outside shot to claim the Italian championship. Yep. He's not going anywhere. He's not going to Tottenham. And there have been plenty of suggestions that if Sherwood gets the right run of results the next couple of weeks, that he could be the individual that stays in charge for at least the remainder of the season. And he fits the bill for Daniel Levy if he starts getting results, because he will do exactly what Levy wants. What I think we should first do is look at names that have been thrown about like Fabio Capello and say, what in the world are you guys talking about?
Well, look.
He needs someone that can be his puppet.
Danny, what are the expectations at Spurs? This is the question for you. How many times have they been in the Champions League?
Once.
Thank you.
Made the final 8, lost out to Real Madrid. Pretty quality.
Once. They've been in the Champions League one time. They have a stadium, White Hart Lane, that seats, 35,000 people? I'm sorry, Spurs.
I think it's over 40, but it doesn't really have the subsidiary.
Actually, I believe you're wrong. I think it's 35,000. But let me just say this. They are a big club in terms of history, a big club in terms of support. They're in London, but are they a big financial club? We know Joe Lewis is there with billions of pounds, but is he willing to put it in? Are they in fact a big club? You have to ask yourself, are their ambitions just a little bit too lofty based on what they can support at White Hart Lane? I don't know. They made the Champions League once. Is it realistic to think that you're going to break into the top 4 right now with Arsenal, with Man City, with Chelsea, with Man United, with Liverpool gelling? Come on, even Everton are doing well this season. I mean, how realistic are those expectations? What manager is going to want to step into those shoes? By the way, I like Spurs. I have nothing against Spurs. I wish them the best as long as they're not taking something away from my team. So I have no ill will towards them. I just sometimes wonder, what are the expectations of the board and the fans?
Without a new ground, it's going to be really difficult. Without a new stadium, it's going to be a pretty massive project. And that is what Daniel Levy was really tasked to do 10 years ago when he came in. I believe it was give or take a year or two. 10 years ago, was do 2 things. Build a product on the field that is capable of competing with the top teams in the English league. And beyond that, help construct and make sure they could construct a new 50,000 plus seater stadium. And you're absolutely right. The capacity of White Hart Lane is 36,000.
Yep.
Is to build a 50,000 plus seater that has all the amenities and all the premier and luxury seating. And they haven't come any closer to doing that. And until they do that, they're not going to be a top club. And trying to move to the Olympic Stadium, what a just brutal joke. So I think that they need a manager. I think Huddle would be a great look for this club.
Well, what do you say they go back to QPR, hat in hand, and beg old Harry to come back?
That's what I would do. I think it was ridiculous they sacked him in the first place.
All right, World Soccer Radio, Sports Byline USA. Nick Geber and Danny Page with you. Right now we're discussing Tottenham. Who's next? When we come back, we'll continue the discussion and also move over to Chelsea and ask if you really think they're title contenders. 800-878-PLAY. Find us on Twitter at World Soccer Radio. We're going to step aside, take a break. By the way, big hello to our men and women in uniform listening around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. All right, we're going to step aside and be right back after this.
Great song.
Do you know which investment has tripled in price since the debt crisis?
Do you think we might want to try a redial on Danny, or are you happy with the connection?
Hey, sounds fine to me.
Okay, well, he almost dropped out there for about 15 seconds.
Well, I think that may have been an ISDN dropout, because he's been solid on my end.
Yeah. For a limited time,
all right, then.
New customers with $5,000 or more to invest in gold or silver can get up to 10 certified Morgan silver dollars absolutely free. That's right, up to 10 100-year-old Morgan silver dollars when you invest $5,000 or more. A $600 value free.
That was the long version too, Danny.
IRA accounts as well.
Call right now, 800-631-9229, 800-631-9229, 800-631-9229. Call Lear Capital now, 800-631-9229.
I think we should sing between these breaks, Nick.
I think not.
Smart investors pay attention.
Danny, why don't you? Why don't we have you redial in? Okay.
Gives investors the perspective they need
I'm
to
gonna
anticipate the market's
get rid of you
twists
here.
and
Okay.
turns and find profitable opportunities along the way. Barron's provides the investing ideas and insights you need to protect and grow your portfolio. It offers in-depth coverage and analysis of sectors and companies. And Barron's columnists cover all the market's action, so you'll know what happened and why, and be prepared for what's to come. Barron's delivers strategic thinking and practical ideas to help you make smarter decisions about when, where, and how to invest. And for
Hey, Danny.
intraday market analysis, there's Barron's.com.
Hey there.
Offering
Still got a
powerful
delay, but
investment
that's all right.
tools like Stock Screener and Stock Grader. Get 8 weeks of Barron's plus Barron's.com, all for only $19.95. This offer is available to new subscribers
Better
in the
video quality
contiguous
on you.
U.S. only.
Call now toll free 800-356-9700. That's 800-356-9700 for Barron's. See what others don't.
When you struggle with credit card bills every month, you're not just in debt.
Can I get a
Debt
sound
is
check
all
from you?
around you.
I see people every day that are on the brink.
Yes.
They're going to go over the
ready
edge.
for
And
the
at the
second
bottom is bankruptcy.
segment here on World Soccer
Pull
Radio.
them back.
At the debt
Back in the
helpline, we're
back
experts at
battle
helping
here.
you resolve your
Just
debt
keeps
Before we get to
drifting.
Chelsea, or
history of debt.
Why do
We
I have
can
a-
help you pay off your
are
debt
you-
and
am
give
I on
you
speaker
one
somehow,
lower monthly
there too?
payment that you can afford.
I
You
gotta
do get to
repeat.
consolidate your
Let me hear
payments.
something again.
You only have to worry about making one payment.
30
a month.
seconds.
Yes.
3,
World Soccer
4,
Radio.
5,
Sports
but-
Byline USA.
5,000, 10,000 or more in credit card bills? Call the
36,000
Debt Helpline
capacity
now
at
for a free
White Hart
Lane.
confidential
Yikes.
debt analysis.
800-957-6063.
All right, 20 on my queue. Stand by.
957-6063. Call the CESI Debt Helpline right now for a free confidential debt review. 800-957-6063. 800-957-6063.
You're up.
All right, welcome back to the show. World Soccer Radio, Sports Byline, the USA Radio Network. Once again, big hello to our men and women in uniform listening on American Forces. If you're listening on one of the affiliate stations of the Sports Byline Network, it's great to be with you each and every weeknight, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find us right here, whether it's on Sports Byline or American Forces or TuneIn.com or iHeartRadio, or you're watching our live video feed through WatchWSR.com or WorldSoccerTalk.com. We're everywhere, Danny, everywhere.
You are everywhere, my friend. There's no question about that. The one and only Nick Geber.
What do you mean I am everywhere? You're not a part of this? Okay, fine. I'll be sure to send...
Well, I mean, come on. This is like the Nick Geber show with, the Yank guy.
Oh, you
contributing here.
Are you the
a
happy
little bit.
side? You're the happy sidekick. Is that what I'm getting here?
Yeah, you know what? I actually am, man. I really actually am. Do you? I know you love Rafa Benitez.
I do.
It's what we call in modern day, lingo among us young people, contemporary lingo. It's what we call a man crush. You have a man crush on Rafa Benitez. You know, you'd love to have dinner with him. You'd love to take him out for a drink sometime. And probably wake up in the morning and watch some football with him. Now different rooms, yes. But you have a man crush on the guy.
Hey, listen.
Do you want to see him come back to the league? Would you like to see him at Tottenham?
It hurts me to see him come back to the Premier League with any team other than Liverpool. Although I have to say, right now, if I was given the choice to have Rafa Benitez or Brendan Rodgers, I like what Brendan Rodgers is doing at Liverpool as much as I like Rafa Benitez. Look, when he went to Chelsea, he got a very, very warm reception. And I mean hot, as in unpleasant, as in they didn't want him. They sang, "You're nothing but a fat Spanish waiter, and you're getting sacked in the morning," and all this stuff. And in point of fact, the guy came in, got them to the Champions League, won the UEFA Cup. I think he did it. Oh, pardon me, the Europa Cup. I think he did a fantastic job with a team that wasn't his. Europa League. You win the Europa Cup, though, when you go to the Europa League. Though,
You win the Europa League today, man. And frankly, now we're seeing that team just was not that great.
That's right.
They, in some ways, have some of the aging individuals that United have. And I also think that Chelsea's owner went out and forced the club to buy too many similar creative players.
Listen.
And I think that really, if you look at where the most incredible manager to walk the face of the earth, Mourinho, has this Chelsea team, their position isn't much better than where Benitez had them. In fact, arguably, it might be worse, frankly, when you consider that they went on a successful cup run and that they also, were able to compete and finish in the top 4 in the league.
Well, look, what I wonder is, are they going to sing "You're Nothing But a Fat Portuguese Waiter" to Jose Mourinho if things don't go the way they want? Mourinho has come in. It's the second coming of Jose. This is not his team, though, Danny. As much as it wasn't Rafa Benitez's team, it's still not Jose Mourinho's team. Mourinho prefers big, strong players. He likes the physical players that have the skill and the speed. He's got small, technical players that are very gifted, very good on the ball, but they're not the profile of the type of player that he wants. They are eking by, Danny, and the question we put out for our listeners right now is, do you really think Chelsea are, in fact, title contenders? And if you look at their results going all the way back to that unfortunate win they had against West Bromwich Albion, which I thought was brutal for Steve Clarke early on in his
really was.
tenure there, that ended up in his sacking, of course. You have to ask yourself, just how good do you think Chelsea are? They're currently sitting on 33 points. They have 10 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses. I mean, they're okay. The numbers are all right, but are not winning convincingly. They are eking by.
Yeah.
And what happened today against Sunderland is very much what you've seen from Chelsea throughout the season. Now, they've come through with those goals that matter, so let's not take away the points that they've earned. This is not a matter of a question of disrespecting their wins. A win is a win, Danny, but they've not looked super convincing doing it, and you have to think it's just a matter of time until they don't get that one goal that ekes out the win. It'll be a draw. It'll be a loss. That they knock that the rub of the green is not going to start going their way.
I think that you're looking at Chelsea right now, and you're looking at Mourinho right now, and you're painting a picture of them that's the same picture last week you said was unfair for fans to paint of some of these managers that end up being sacked. I think Mourinho. Chelsea fans need to stay patient, and Chelsea fans need to understand that this is a multi-year project, and they need to make a multi-year commitment to Mourinho. And if they allow Mourinho to do his thing, and yes, you might have to go out and sell a Mata or an Oscar or one of the – buying William was just unbelievably dumb, and really there was no reason to that rhyme for Chelsea.
There was if you don't want Spurs
Mourinho needs to get his type of players – right, I understand that. But in a more practical sense, Mourinho needs to bring in his type of players, and then and only then will they compete with the likely juggernauts in this league going forward for a few years in Manchester City.
Well, actually, believe it or not, Danny,
it's going to take some time.
I'm not saying anything that you're not saying. I'm not suggesting that you throw Jose Mourinho out. I think he is the best manager in the world over the last 10 years. Nothing's happened. He's still an incredible manager, but it's unrealistic to think that he was going to drop in on a team of players that largely weren't his own, not of his doing. I think he's done well with them as it is, but you're right. He's going to have to bring in players that fit his profile, that work within his system, that he wants, not players that Roman Abramovich wants. He needs to bring in players that he wants, that fit his system, and then, trust me, Chelsea will get the results in a more compelling fashion and will win more games than they are right now. However, that said, I don't see Chelsea as real title contenders this year precisely for that issue. They're going to finish top. They're going to finish top 4. There's no doubt about that. But I don't see them winning the league. I think right now, because we're asking ourselves, are Chelsea title contenders? That right now, for my money, there's only 2.5 title contenders right now in the league.
Are you saying Liverpool are a half title contender?
Possibly. But look.
Okay, listen.
We're going to get to this one. We'll get to this next segment.
No, hold on a sec here. If Mourinho is sacked by Abramovich, all right?
Which is not going to happen.
Mourinho is sacked by Abramovich at some point. No, I'm not saying during the season even. Okay. I'm saying, during the summer, if they finish 4th and they go out in the quarterfinals. The moment that Mourinho, to me, if he leaves Chelsea in a snap decision, by the way, we'd love to hear from you guys. Give us a ring, 800-878-PLAY. That's 800-878-PLAY. Get on air with Nick and I. The moment that Mourinho is sacked by Abramovich is when I really fear for the future of Chelsea, because he has fired an all-star lineup of the world's great managers. You know, there's nobody left. There is no one left to lead this Chelsea team, especially over a long period of time.
Well, he's not going to sack him. I mean, he has to be there for the long haul, I would imagine. And if you're a Chelsea supporter, I mean, sacking Mourinho is absolutely the last thing on earth you would want, or the last thing that really any football fan, anybody that follows the game, anyone that appreciates what a guy like Jose Mourinho brings to the league. And I, for one, am thrilled that he's back. I'm a big Jose Mourinho fan. I mean, I think he's a terrific manager, a great personality. I think he injects a certain vigor and life, and certainly you never know what you're going to get with him day in and day out. I think he's great. He's a great manager. I want him to stay.
Absolutely.
Chelsea supporters have to show their support. It was unrealistic to think he was going to drop in. He was just going to parachute in, and all of a sudden you'd be top of the league, winning all the silverware. Now, having said that, an eminently winnable tie against Galatasaray coming up in the Champions League, you know, they could have a good Champions League run. There's no doubt about that. Let's not forget that in many respects, when new managers come in, they can have better success in Europe than they do domestically. Just take a look again. Rafa Benitez, his first year at Liverpool, finished 5th but won the Champions League. Look at AVB.
Although losing to Basel does not give you does not give you the best feeling about this club and where they might be and what they really may be capable of. I worry about them in the Champions League. And let's be honest, I don't see this as much from Man City fans, even though they've had this incredible turnaround. Does anyone have more unrealistic supporters than Chelsea? They expect to win
Man
Europe
United.
every year. They expect to win the title every year. And
no,
come
hold
on. I mean, let's
are you
think back to
talking
the
about
90s
Chelsea
and where
fans?
this club was.
Are you talking about Chelsea fans, or are you talking about
Yes, I
Manchester
am.
United supporters?
Yes.
Because you're sounding to me like you're talking
I'm
about
talking
United
about Chelsea
supporters.
fans.
Every year they should win the Champions
Yeah,
League.
but
Every
United
year they should win
supporters
the
have
Premier
won
League.
12. Yeah, but they've won 12 titles in the last 20 years. I think they have that right. Chelsea have won 3 titles in so many years. And for Chelsea supporters to think, well, we're not going to win the title this year, let's go out and sack our manager. That's just the attitude, and then they bring in the next level manager and the one above that and the one above that. And eventually there's going to be nobody left.
You can't keep sacking managers. You have to show stability. You have to stick with your manager. I like so far what Liverpool have done with Brendan Rodgers. He had a very rocky first year. It's coming right now. I like the idea that United gave David Moyes a 6-year contract as an upfront show of support. Look at what's happened at Newcastle, despite all the machinations and rumblings last year that they were going to get rid of Alan Pardew, and in fact it looked very much like they were. They've stuck with him and they're coming round. That's what I don't understand. Teams like West Bromwich Albion, who had a great season last year, punched way above their weight. I mean, certainly blew away all expectations, come down to earth a little bit with some reality this year, despite having some great results, by the way, against big teams, and they fire their manager. I don't get it. Tottenham Hotspur, fire their manager. I don't understand it. You've got to have stability, otherwise you're just resetting, Danny, and rebuilding every year, and that's not good for anyone.
Yeah, and I still like where West Ham are, having kept Big Sam. I think Big Sam will easily keep them up. I think Steve Clark would have done the same for West Brom, frankly.
All right, folks. World Soccer Radio, Sports Byline USA, Radio Network, American Forces, and 350 million different digital platforms you can get us on. It is wonderful to be with you as we are each and every weeknight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You make sure you make us a regular part of your week. Put us in your book with Sharpie, and if you have an iPhone like Danny does, write all over the screen in Sharpie. All right, 800-878-PLAY. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back after this.
Consistency,
so you're
honesty,
fast asleep,
and dependability.
dreaming
These
you
are
can
terms
fly
you're
like a
normally here
falcon,
for.
unaware that as you were
Consistency.
driving home, a diagnostic signal flew through your Impala's engine, transmission, brakes, and a few other systems you didn't even know you had, sniffing around for possible trouble codes. Then it shot data out of your car through a bunch of cell towers and into your inbox. You wake with some vague recollection of looking at Earth from above. Check your email and see that your car is just fine, thank you. But your left rear tire pressure's a bit low, your oil life's at 19%, and you're due for a new filter. After a long yawn, it dawns on you that you live in an amazing time when cars can diagnose key systems and send reports while you're suspended in midair, dreaming that humans can fly. All because you drive a Chevrolet Impala connected by OnStar. Find new roads. For details, availability, and system limitations, visit OnStar.com.
Tired of calls, levies,
Fucking
and
computer.
liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall and Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall and Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall and Associates now. 800-480-5708. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall and Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-480-5708. That's 800-480-5708. Again, 800-480-5708.
This family is at home, but they won't be answering the door. They know that the pounding on the door is a process server from the court waiting to hand them foreclosure documents. So instead of enjoying the home they worked so hard to afford, they sit hiding in the dark.
Mom, what was that?
But it doesn't have to be this way. This family can save their home, but they must act fast. Call Allied State Foreclosure Solutions at 800-274-7312. If you're being threatened with foreclosure, have been denied a loan modification, missed a payment on your mortgage, been a victim of a predatory loan, or are upside down on your home, it's critical that you call Allied State Foreclosure Solutions now. 800-274-7312. Allied
Stand
State
by.
Foreclosure Solutions has an attorney in your area that will meet and speak with you. You can stop the foreclosure process, lower your monthly mortgage payments, save your home and your credit, but you must act now. Call 800-274-7312. 800-274-7312. Not available in all states. Paid non-attorney spokesperson.
You're up.
All right, welcome back to the show. World Soccer Radio, Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Nick Eber and Danny Page with you today. Once again, 800-878-PLAY, or find us on Twitter at World Soccer Radio. So, Danny, last couple of segments we talked about Spurs, we've talked about Chelsea. Are they really title contenders? But I'd like to ask you, Danny, who are your favorites for the title right now?
There are no favorites. There isn't a discussion, Nick. It's done. City are going to win the title. I don't think there's any question about it. They will get their form together away from home, and they will win the league crown. I do not have a doubt in my mind that this is the team that will claim the league championship. Why? I don't even think it's worth a discussion. Doesn't it seem that apparent to you with the way they can perform at home and the fact that a lot of these strikers like Alvaro Negredo, even with Aguero out, guys like that rounding into form.
Well, Dzeko today scoring 2 goals. Right?
Yeah, Edin Dzeko, obviously, who I've always loved as one of the better strikers in the league. Fernandinho has been a great buy in the center of midfield. He's been outstanding. This is a title-winning team, and maybe not just for a year, but maybe for a couple of years. I know it's so easy for me to come out and say that after the big win over Arsenal, but they just look like the team that will win the league.
You say that, and I'm not sure that I disagree with you. I certainly think when they're firing on all cylinders, they are magnificent. They are a magnificent team. There's no doubt about it. But the question is, how often do they fire on all cylinders? I mean, the team that wins the Premier League is the team that shows consistency. That's why I wouldn't be prepared to count out Arsenal. Yeah, they can drop a game to Man City, or they could drop a game to Man United, if maybe, or whomever, or Chelsea. But they're going to beat every other team that they play home and away because they have that sort of consistency. If they can keep that consistency, I think I would pip Arsenal to win the title, only because I think Man City show brilliance, absolute flashes of brilliance, and then some rather long moments away from home of extreme mediocrity. And as much as I think it would be easy to point a finger at City and say they're going to win the title because they have the ability to beat teams by 1 million goals when they want to, and they do, trust me, they don't seem to want to enough away from home, and I'm not seeing that form coming around fast enough, Danny.
I think it will come around at some point, and it just depends how much distance Arsenal can create between them and City and how much distance they can maintain. Because if City are within 5 points going into March, you have to fancy them to just really spin this thing and close out the season the same way they did when they won the title 2 years ago with basically a 100% record. I like them to do that. I like them to turn it on. The light bulb can kind of switch on at some point away from home. If Arsenal can stretch this to, 7, 8, 9, 10 points, something along those lines, then yes, they can maintain that gap. But you have to figure when the two teams play again, right, Nick? There's another. It really should be another win for City against Arsenal, even though that time around it's at the Emirates. You like them to have that 3 points in their back pocket as well, especially when it comes to these big games.
Hold on a minute, Danny. So, look, they beat Arsenal 6-3 at the Etihad, okay? And now we're crowning them as presumptive title champions based on what was an incredible match, great form, no doubt about it. But how quickly we forget that just the previous week it was a 1-1 with Southampton. And so,
right.
Do we not have memory that lasts longer than one match week here as media people? We should look back at the sum total of the team. 1-1 against Southampton. They lost 1-0 to Sunderland. They lost 2-1 to Chelsea. And they've had some absolutely stunning results. They've scored 47 goals so far this season. But it's the inconsistency away from home that will come back to bite them. Only 2 matches ago, 1-1 against Sunderland. That is not a title-winning team. Sorry.
I just think it's going to click. I don't know when, and I don't know how.
Right.
I'm not even sure, what it will take to get get them to that point.
If it clicks, I agree with you. If it clicks, I agree with you.
I also think that teams like Arsenal can experience injuries that can really doom their title chances, whether that would mean Ozil would be lost for a few weeks. You really just never know, right? You see Robin Van Persie being hurt for United.
Or Nicholas Bentner could go down with a bad injury, and that could just ruin Arsenal's season.
That could just ruin their opportunities.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that City are injury-proof in a lot of ways. Aguero might be out 2 months, and do you really see them dangerously concerned about that? Yes, if he misses the opening match of the Barcelona tie, that's one issue. But if Sergio Aguero, misses 2 months, there are other players who can step in. There are other players that have been waiting to step in. So as the season wears on, and as we build through this Christmas period, and as there are 3 cup competitions going on at once in January, and then back down to 2 in February when you consider Europe, the only team that has the gross depth just because of all the players they have on their payroll are Man City. That is the only team that can really handle this wave of injuries that always seems to come in the Barclays Premier League.
But I accept that, Danny, but they haven't been too badly hit by injuries up till now in the season, and look at the effect. Their away form has been very, very poor. So, look, I understand what you're saying, and you're not saying anything that's wrong, but what you are doing is you're looking at the most recent result, and you're deriving the rest of the season from it. Just 2 weeks ago, it was 1-1 against Sunderland, okay? That's not title-winning form. I don't see Arsenal doing that. They're having a little blip, admittedly, but it's against the big boys in the league that they're dropping the points. Against the minnows or the teams that they, quote, should beat, they're getting all 3 points. I say we got a 2.5-way title race here. Chelsea are not going to win the title. I don't see them as being in the race. Definitely going to finish top 4. It's Arsenal or it's Man City, and the half a possibility for me is Liverpool, only because the way they play. However, one injury to Luis Suarez and, it's all over.
You wear red collar glasses, and you...
You don't think they have half a title chance? You don't think they have a half a title chance?
No, I think you do a really nice job most of the time of being objective. But when I asked you earlier in the show about if your manager lost 5-0 at home to Tottenham, you sat in 7th place after spending $100 million in the summer, would you support that manager? There's no way you would.
Yeah, I would.
And realistically, I just don't think Liverpool have a shot at this title. And actually, it has less to do with them keeping pace with Arsenal as much as I feel like City will turn on the Jets and claim this league title.
Well,
there will be a
Danny,
quick succession of matches where other clubs will drop points and they will not.
Of course, the big match is Liverpool-Man City. That will tell us just where we are here. We're going to have two very attacking, flowing teams playing against each other. It's going to be interesting to see how that match unfolds. Having said that, Danny, statistically, Liverpool, the team that has scored the second most goals in the league outside of Man City is Liverpool. Liverpool have conceded the same amount of goals as Man City have over 16 games. These teams statistically are not that far apart. So if you're willing to make Man City the titular champion already, or the presumptive champion already, when they're only 3rd or 4th in the table right now, you have to say Liverpool has a half a chance. By the way, Chelsea has a half a chance as well. So I'm not, being unrealistic. I'm just saying you have to kind of keep an open mind. If Liverpool beat Man City, it's going to throw the whole thing in turmoil.
You realize what you're saying, though. Okay, I understand it's Boxing Day, and it should be a fantastic match. I haven't looked forward to a specific fixture like this on Boxing Day for a long time, frankly. But there's no way that they go to the Etihad and win the day after Christmas. There is no way whatsoever, Nick.
Well,
do you really
and I
believe they can do that?
Well,
Come on.
you and I both had them losing 2-1 at White Hart Lane. They won 5-0.
Yeah,
now,
that's true.
admittedly, AVB made a massive tactical error there, but Liverpool just ripped them to shreds. I mean, this is going to be a great match. There's no doubt. But it could happen, Danny. It could happen. Liverpool could win this game.
And I could wake up in the morning next to Kate Upton, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
Well, I did, and let me tell you, it's not all it's cracked up to be.
Oh, yeah. If Liverpool do win the match, it again, for City, it's what they need to do against everyone else. And that's the way United has won titles in past years. It's what they've done against everyone else, really, instead of the top 4 over these last couple years, these last few years, I should say, when they weren't at their absolute best. So, yes, it's about Man City and Liverpool, but it's also about Man City during the Christmas period playing Fulham and Crystal Palace and Swansea, and then moving on to see Cardiff again on the other side of the year. Those are the games that are going to win them the title.
Yes, away from home, they have to be able to win those matches.
Get a draw. If Liverpool even get a draw, they should be thrilled. By the way, I think it would be really nice for City and a big boost for City to win the League Cup. They should easily be favorites to do so. And for them, it would be such a massive boost to win a trophy in late February that says, wow, we can have multiple trophy seasons, because that still has not happened. We're still looking at them only winning an FA Cup and a Barclays Premier League title. So if they can pull this one off early on, the confidence is there.
We're going to have two massive teams in the Premier League for the next cycle of 5-6 years, and it's going to be Chelsea and it's going to be Manchester City. There's no, let's not be delusional. Okay, we're talking about a crack in the fissure here. We're talking about a one-year opportunity for other teams to maybe come in and do something, and that's what I'm talking about Liverpool. And by the way, Danny, you're not wrong about what you're saying about Man City. I'm not suggesting that you're wrong. What you're saying makes absolute sense. And if you watch Man City play, when they flick the on button, they are unbeatable. The only thing I'm saying to you is don't count Liverpool out, because they're in with a chance. This isn't a done deal. This isn't Man City playing Sunderland or playing West Ham United. This is a team that beat Spurs 5-0. It could happen. Do I think it will? Probably not, but it certainly is possible. And for that reason, I say Liverpool have a half a chance. For that reason, I say Chelsea have a half a chance. But let's move on to our last topic, Danny, if we can. Vincent Tan at Cardiff City is, getting under the skin of his manager every single way that he possibly can. He's a really strange egg, this Vincent Tan. He's a very odd dude. There's no denying that. The latest one, of course, is that Malky Mackay mentioned that maybe they could bring 2 or 3 fresh faces in January, and Vincent Tan's second in command, a bloke by the name of Simon Lim, came out and quote that Vincent Tan was, quote, extremely upset by this comment from Malky Mackay, and that not one penny was going to be made available to the manager in January. And I asked myself, Danny, that's fine if he doesn't want to spend money, but why do you air your dirty laundry in public?
I don't know what he's doing. He's really trying to push him out without spending the money that is necessary on Malky Mackay's buyout. But why do owners bring this manager with them to the Barclays Premier League? The manager eventually, I should say the manager brings the owner, but then in the end, they, for some reason, find that manager responsible. And absolutely makes no sense.
And you can say Vincent Tan's justified because it's his team, he can do whatever he wants. Yes, he is. He can spend any money that he wants or not. His team can get relegated or not. That's his decision. But, no one likes to see all this stuff aired publicly. Take it behind the boardroom door, and if you want to rip him a new one there, you do it. All right, World Soccer Radio, Sports Byline USA Radio Network, Nick Geber and Danny Page with you. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back to wrap it up here on the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Once again, find us on Twitter at World Soccer Radio. We'll be right back after these messages.
Do you know which investment has tripled in price since the debt crisis and risen an average 20% a year for 11 years? It's not stocks, not bonds, it's silver. And right now, we at Lear Capital believe silver is poised to hit new record highs. And we're making it easier to own than ever. For a limited time, new customers with $5,000 or more to invest in gold or silver can get up to 10 certified Morgan silver dollars absolutely free. That's right, up to 10 100-year-old Morgan silver dollars when you invest $5,000 or more. A $600 value free. This offer is available for IRA accounts as well.
Call right now, 800-631-9229, 800-631-9229, 800-631-9229. Call Lear Capital now, 800-631-9229.
When you struggle with credit card bills every month, you're not just in debt. Debt is all around you.
I see people every day that are on the brink. They're going to go over the edge, and at the bottom is bankruptcy, and we pull them back.
At the Debt Helpline, we're experts at helping you resolve your debt problems and become free of debt. We can help you pay off your debt and give you one lower monthly payment that you can afford.
You do get to consolidate your payments. You only have to worry about making one payment a month instead of making 3 or 4 or 5.
If you have $5,000, $10,000 or more in credit card bills, call the Debt Helpline now for a free confidential debt analysis.
800-957-6063, 800-957-6063. Call the CESI Debt Helpline right now for a free confidential debt review. 800-957-6063, 800-957-6063.
This
1 minute
is for business owners and leaders of organizations who've been waiting for the right time to build. General Steel has made it impossible to wait any longer with rock-bottom prices that could save you thousands. That's right, General Steel, America's leader in pre-engineered structures, is offering buildings at prices you will never see again. A 14 by 21 foot shop for under $6,000 or a 50 by 100 for under $30,000. You heard right, that's 5,000 square
30
feet
seconds,
under
stand by.
$30,000. Manufacturers, if you need a larger building, try a 100 by 100 commercial building for $129,000. You can't afford to rent with these prices. Imagine a 70 by 100 foot church building for under $69,000. With the economy improving and interest rates still at historic lows, you can't afford to wait.
Call 800-965-1298, 800
On my cue, stand by.
1298, 800-965-1298.
You're up.
All right, welcome back. World Soccer Radio, Nick Eber, Danny Page. Danny, what's on the agenda for us tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to look a bit more into this Cardiff ownership issue. And it's not just about Cardiff. It's about a lot of these owners. And what right do they have, really, to treat managers like this, change clubs' names, and bring in the people that they want? Do they have complete right to do so? Should they totally have free reign? Or really, should they support their fans more and listen to their fans more? Because they really don't seem to care what the fans want at this point. I think it's interesting discussion. I hope it's something we get to tomorrow.
So who owns the club? The owners or the fans? That's the question that we're going to ask you tomorrow.
Yes!
9 p.m. Eastern Time on the Sports Byline USA Radio Network or Twitter or Facebook. By the way, facebook.com/World Soccer Radio to make it easy for you. You can also find us on Ustream at Ustream. Just go to watchwsr.com. So those are some good topics, Danny. So let's just recap. So you have Man City as the title winners as we sit today. What are we? December the 17th. You are picking them, the presumptive champions, Manchester City. I'm saying I think they look really good. I think it's going to be a two-way race between Arsenal and Man City, but I say I give half a chance to Liverpool, I give half a chance to Chelsea, and I'm sorry if you think I'm straddling the fence on that one, but that's just the way I see it. All right, so that's going to sum it up for me and Danny. Hope you enjoyed the show. You can find this show, by the way, go find us on World Soccer Talk or watchwsr.com or iHeartRadio or tunein.com. Wow, we're everywhere, Danny, everywhere. And we'll be back on with you tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. I'd like to thank you, Danny, once again for being here, as always, a stalwart co-host through thick and thin. And, of course, everyone in San Francisco, thanks so much. Coming up next, a true legend of broadcasting, Mr. Ron Barr. And there is only one place you get incredible programming like this. Of course, patting ourselves on the back here. And that's right here on the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Cheers. We'll speak to you tomorrow.
Nice show, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right, then.